Hi, everyone. Jamie and Michael here, and we are back with another top 5 for the week. And this week's top 5 is top 5 ways people accidentally waste money every month. So let's dive right in. Number 5, tipping culture. Michael, what do we have to say about tipping culture?
Gone too far.
It's gone too far.
I mean, tipping, I brought up this example when we were talking about this. You're at the airport, get a bottle of water. It's like, would you like to tip? For what?
What service did you perform?
So it's gone too far. I think if somebody's performing a service for you, bringing something, and I was a delivery driver in college. That's how I made money. Definitely tip. And I think that's good to be generous there. But if you're just buying a product and there's not really a service provided, tipping is unnecessary and can add up.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you're DoorDashing and things like that, they want their tips in advance. And I don't really understand that. That's almost just asking, would you like to pay more for this product, instead of just saying, hey, we had really good service, we're going to give a really good tip.
Yeah.
But anyways,
It's just embedded in
it's bizarre. And then you feel nervous if you don't tip in advance. Are they going to spit in my food, right? Could I tip afterwards? Anyways, it's just a little mixed up. And this really got heightened in COVID when we were trying to keep restaurants alive and we were trying to be extra generous to those people who were serving the restaurant business. And then it just never went away. It's kind of like baggage fees.
I'll give you an example. I was at a general store in downtown Littleton, and my kids bought like a little knickknack. They asked for a tip.
At a toy store?
I don't know. To me, it's gone too far.
Yes. And I would give another example. We love to get froyo. And so I'll take my kids to froyo shop, and you walk in and the containers are right there by the door. You get your own container. You go fill your own froyo. You go scoop your own toppings. You put it on the scale, and all the cashier does is press a button, and then they turn it around to be tipped. And we just kind of think, what are we tipping for?
Well, and you brought this up when we were discussing this topic. It's almost designed to guilt you into doing it. Like,
correct.
You feel bad if you don't tip for something, and I think people probably tip more than they should.
Yeah, and this made national news a few years after COVID. It was a tipping culture fatigue, and that's how it got branded the name tipping culture, because obviously COVID was the rise for tips, and then post-COVID, it's just never gone away. Like I mentioned earlier, like the baggage fees, if you remember when oil really spiked about 10, 15 years ago, and they were like, we're just going to institute baggage fees. All the airlines did this just for now, right? Just to cover the cost of oil. And then when it goes down, we'll take those away. We'll have baggage fees gone away? No. And actually, Southwest just jumped on that bandwagon.
Yeah. Just to be clear, like, we're not suggesting that you not be a good tipper. People that provide, a valuable service and do a good job, please be generous. This is more along the lines of, hey, they probably shouldn't even be asked for a tip in the first place.
Yes, exactly. So if it is deserved and you got good service, please be a generous tipper. This is just the taking advantage of tipping culture. So, all right, moving on to number 4, subscriptions. What do we think about subscriptions? We all have them.
Subscriptions auto renew, and it's important to be intentional to understand between the video apps. I know at our house we've got Netflix, Disney, all these different subscription apps, auto ship, things like that. Just make sure that you're aware of what you're paying. One of the recommendations I have is I like an app called Copilot, which will help track spending and categorize things like subscriptions or how much did I spend eating out. If you don't have the time to, from a budgeting standpoint, categorize everything manually, it's a great way to track things like subscriptions and make sure that there's not money going out that you're not utilizing.
I agree. So that's one way to catch some of these sneaky things that snuck in. Maybe you don't even know you're still paying for them. I mean, Amazon Prime, that's gone up significantly in the last 5 years. You have your Prime Unlimited subscriptions. You got Paramount TV, Hulu, Netflix, Disney Plus, things that, my kids have like Fortnite and Minecraft and some things that might just auto-populate that I don't even realize we're paying for. And so Copilot is a budgeting app, and I think that's a great tool to catch some of those things that you might not even realize you're still paying for.
Right.
So, all right, number 3, impulse spending. What is it?
We live in a frictionless purchase society. It is so easy to just buy something, especially online. You can just click, see an ad, it's purchased, which is great, super convenient. You can order something and have it at your house same day, some instances, but it leads to purchases that you might not, if you had some time to think about it, or if you had to go to buy something, you'd either be less thoughtful about it. You might not shop as much to make sure, is this the best buy? And you're certainly more likely to spend more, I think.
Yeah, I agree. And be smarter than the algorithm, because I would say I gave up social media. This is one of my New Year's resolutions. So I've been off social media for about 3 months.
For Lent.
you guys were winning over here at Heirloom. But when you give that up, you notice, especially as a woman, I get targeted a lot for ads for anything from like, oh, this cute football sweatshirt or this makeup brand or this rug. Like I really am into ruggables, and you click it once. Well, then the algorithm knows and it keeps popping up to where you're like, I think I'm going to get that on Instagram and Facebook. Be very aware. That used to be how you could keep track of family and friends, and it was mainly photos. It is now a lot of ads, and there is some big bucks going into advertising to you specifically. So if you're an impulse spender, which I think we can all fall into that, just a quick click, and they make it so easy with Apple Pay. You don't even have to get a credit card out. The online impulse spending is tough.
Maybe a best practice is to give yourself a day. Put it in your shopping cart. Leave that window open on your phone, but wait a day before you pull the trigger on spending it.
I like it.
Yeah.
Don't make it impulse.
Give yourself a cool off period.
Yep. All right, number 2, convenience spending. Now, what is convenience spending and how is it different from impulse spending?
Well, impulse spending would be just like we were talking about. See something like, oh, I want that, and you buy it. Convenience spending is either you don't plan ahead and you got to get the Uber or Uber Eats, DoorDash, that type of thing. And that can, we've done some due diligence on this. That can basically double the cost. Like if you get food delivered from Chipotle versus going there, you pay twice as much.
Yes. And actually, we just had Cooper buy a DoorDash yesterday to see what was included in the DoorDash fees, which I think we've all at some point on Uber Eats or DoorDash. But he bought a burrito from Chipotle, $15 burrito. And then there was a retail delivery fee, there is a delivery fee, there is a service fee, there is an estimated tax. And so the total before tip was $24, okay? You add a couple dollars for tips, and now you're at $26, and that's for a $15 burrito.
Yeah. So forget the fact that you could have planned and made lunch at home.
Correct.
The reduction in cost there is dramatic, but this is doubling even a more expensive item than having a meal prepared at home. If you do this once or twice a week, that's definitely going to eat into your cash flow.
Yeah. Now, 5 years ago, if we were doing this, we would say, hey, eating out, that could be a way to accidentally waste money, right? Do we need to get our coffee out at Starbucks? Do we need to go to Chipotle to have lunch? Well, now it's just exasperated into, we can't even be bothered to go to those stores. We need somebody to deliver it. And now people deliver. DoorDash does everything from like Pampers boxes to Walmart deliveries to you can have everything. Maybe that was the rise of Amazon. It's just that quick Prime delivery. It's to your house the next day, and we're like, takes more than a day, forget it.
I think this is more of the, I didn't plan on getting a ride or where I was going to drive, and then you pay for a more expensive Uber than some other form of transportation, or the door dashing. This is going to add up.
Yeah.
This is going to eat away a lot of people's cash flow.
Yeah, just be careful of that convenience spending because it can increase the cost of a meal, for example, by 60%. All right, we've gotten to number 1, Michael. Number 1 is the minimum payment trap. What do we mean by the minimum payment trap?
You make the minimum payment on a purchase on a credit card, you will pay, in many instances, more than double what the actual product costs.
Yeah.
Hypothetically, if you purchased a vacation for $3,000 and made the minimum payment on that for 5 years, and the interest rate on that credit card was north of 20%, you will spend $3,000 on that credit card bill and just interest and still owe the $3,000 5 years later.
Mm-hmm.
So making the minimum payment, particularly on what's called revolving debt, it could be credit cards, lines of credit, home equity lines, you're only paying the interest, you can end up paying several times more than what the actual thing you're buying costs or paying for costs.
Correct. And a lot of times this is sold as like a buy now, pay later. As a matter of fact, I even see this on Amazon Prime now when I go to, if I want to buy a new Kindle, if I even want to buy paper towels, they're like, oh, why spend $100 now when you can just break this up into 4 payments of $25 over the next 4 months? And you say, oh, that's a palatable amount. I want to do that. Well, then you do that with enough stuff that adds up, and now people are missing payments potentially. What's another thing with the buy now, pay later trap, where I see this a lot for, say, appliances, where it's, oh man, this is interest free for a year. This is a great deal. Why wouldn't I do interest free for a year? Well, why wouldn't I, Michael?
I brought up an example in a previous video. Early on in my career, my first job at a college was a credit manager. And so we deal with people that had purchased something at American Furniture Warehouse or wherever and 0% interest for 36 months. As long as you pay it off within that 36 months window, you don't pay any interest.
Yeah.
If you don't, all of the back interest went on to the credit balance, and then you're paying 20+% moving forward. I cannot tell you how many times that I would talk with people and call them and be like, hey, if you don't pay this off next week, you're going to owe an extra $1,500. I mean, and people wouldn't pay it off. And I'm like, that. It was hard for me to wrap my mind around then. And today with the buy now, pay later everywhere from, you mentioned concert tickets.
Yes. Yes. Burning Man. This is a big one. Buy now, pay later. They really promote that.
And it really ties back to, can I afford the payments versus can I afford this, right? And I think that mentality has just gone too far. And a lot of people are ending up in a much worse place financially than they realize by getting caught in the minimum payment trap.
Yep. And it is a trap. You see buy now, pay later. Just remember in the back of your brain, this is a trap. It is a trap. Okay, so what are the top 5? Just to run through them again. Top 5 ways people accidentally waste money every month are: number 5, tipping culture, beware. Number 4, subscriptions, know what you have. Number 3, impulse spending, maybe get off of social media, it will help. Number 2, convenience spending, maybe we can go pick up our Chipotle instead of getting it DoorDashed. And number 1, the minimum payment trap of buy now, pay later. Thanks for joining us.